if you're talking to a person who maybe is trying to hit this massive fucking goal, whether it be in Southwestern, so for those book kids that are listening right now in the book field that are trying to hit these massive goals, or maybe it's someone who's listening who is trying to hit a high personal goal in their life, right? Which 10,000 units is a pretty high rare error. Let's just say that rare
Mhm.
error to walk in among the alumni, 300,000 plus people who have done this program,
Mhm.
100,000 of which are alive.
Mhm.
0.1% maybe have done what you've done. Top three things that you did to perform at this high level of achievement within this really competitive sphere of work. If you could share that really quick, and then we'll go to rapid fire questions, and then we'll go to body details.
Um, I so to keep it succinct, and it has been a while, but what I remember leading into that summer was I remember owning every aspect of life. So being really like the you put together the plan of like, all right, so analyze the prior summer. What am I going to do differently that's going to be able to? So you get done with the summer number three, and summer number three for me was about 8,000, 7,700. I said, okay, next year I'm going to hit 10,000. So I analyzed the prior summer in the fall and said, all right, what am I going to do differently? How am I going to get to that next level? And then by the time that second semester rolled around and we've got, GRS and basically now we're in like the true mode of like, let's get ready for the summer. I had already formulated the plan and then owning every aspect of life. So it wasn't just studying my sales talk, but it was owning every aspect of life of my physical fitness, my mental fitness, my grades. I think I had a 4.0 that semester. I was like really into my physical fitness on a good schedule, just like owned every aspect of life, which gave me the momentum going into the summer. And then, having those whys figured out and going through and thinking every possible outcome, everything that, all right, what if I deal with this adversity? How am I going to handle it? And writing it down. They talked about always that 7 step outline. I probably had a 20 plus page 7 step outline, and I know I could probably dig it back up and I did it for every summer, but it like you could tell just like the feeling that you got of times where it was like, all right, I'm really committed um, to doing the little things right. It's mastering the little things, the fundamentals that are going to get you to that next level. So just that creates a lot of momentum going into it. That desire, and then breaking the belief barriers. That'd be the other thing I'd say. Belief
But
barriers. Truly believing it.
okay, sorry to make this longer, but let me dig into that because that sounds like what they tell you at Southwestern. But for you, I
Hmm.
mean, you had summers that you didn't do so hot, and I know that you
Yeah.
weren't happy about it. But after,
Yeah.
obviously, after the standards that you set, any summer below that is fair to have that criticism of. But like
Yep.
specifically going into this, I mean, I've heard of so many people, so many advanced sales of like, I knew I was gonna hit this number, and I knew this.
Hmm.
It's kind of cliche from a standpoint of Southwestern.
No doubt. It
So,
is absolutely cliche.
so let's get out of that for you
Yep.
specifically. When you went into that summer, when you went and fucking crushed it, because you did, what happened?
Pre
Down
summer or in the
brass
summer?
tacks. Both. I mean, let's just both brass tacks. What the fuck happened to you? Because you didn't do it after that, and you didn't do it before that, but that summer you fucking clicked it on and you crushed it. So what happened?
Well, I
And that was my
it
first summer, which is really convenient because we were sharing
was
pace
good.
setters, which yeah,
2012, man. Good
great
times.
summer.
It was such a fun summer. I felt like that in the trajectory of my career, the like excitement towards the job had kind of peaked around summers 4, 5, and 6, and then 7 and 8, and trailed off, where it sort of got a little monotonous. But it was sort of like the colliding of my skill as a salesperson and also my enthusiasm for the job. Because like a big thing I talked about was sort of creating the variety. Variety is the spice of life and keeping things fresh. So it was like in the mornings, not just doing the same song. My favorite song that I played in the morning was Soldier Boy, right? Soldier Boy, Turn My Swag On. Hot tap out the bed, turn my swag on. That was always my favorite song. But we mixed it up a lot that summer, where we would play like flow ride music videos that we would dance to, and it was just like the variety of like keeping it fresh. That's where we had talked about the mustache Mondays. It was my fourth summer that I did mustache Mondays, Maybe if you want me to tell that story, I'll tell that story. But it would get us off on a tangent for this part of the conversation. Keeping it fresh and having that variety, and then pre-summer, like truly getting outside of your comfort zone. Because the thing is, we this is a Southwestern phrase, or other it's a phrase in in outside of Southwestern, but to talk about Southwestern as well, of if you do what you always done, we'll get you. You'll If you think the way you always thought, you do what you always done, you'll get what you always gotten. So it's like you really have to like do some things different. So what becomes those things that you do has to change on a consistent basis, because what you then grow to becomes the new norm. It's like they talk about growth begins where the comfort zone ends. So if I do the same preparation summer after summer, or leading up to the summer every year leading up to the summer, then it's going to get stale and it's going to get stagnant. So it's like you continually have to evolve as a human to be able to get new results. And that going into that fourth summer, I mean, that was my last semester in college, so I was wrapping up with some pretty tough classes that really challenged me. I was really trying to take the reins of being an OL from Grayson, who had basically told me, "Hey, I'm done here. Like, you've got the keys to the Lamborghini here. If you want to take over UNI, like you're going to be the guy." So it was my first time of kind of like being in that position where I was the one running the informational sessions for the first time. I had seen Grayson do it, and he had involved me quite a bit, but I knew I was getting outside of my comfort zone, because it was kind of like I was pushed into that role of like, guess what? You're running this organization. And I took that super seriously. And that then gave me that confidence that's like we built a solid team. And I was proud of the fact that, hey, we weren't the biggest team, but I felt like we had a good team of, really, really good first year students. And that was the summer. I sold 10,000 units, and we had 11 first year students, 10 finished, 11 hit, or 9 hit Sizzler. And then of our managers, like most of them came back and we had like top to bottom, we had a solid organization. Um, and had great managers that I followed. But ultimately, kind of the answer to your question was, getting outside of my comfort zone in my preparation helped me get outside of my comfort zone and selling more books than I had ever sold before.